This is over the 5% down, right?
I know.
But I didn't think attorney would allow.
We'll have to publish in the paper next Wednesday. Then we can't have a hearing until the 4th. And then we would be able to pass the budget till the 20th. And we're releasing it back to the first. This series or would not be using it from the first. So anyway, this has this is what.
I didn't know what they knew that. And I called him later and I go, you've been so happy. I go, you are well known.
Okay, I'm coming. That's where I'm at. Well, and the thing is, we may have to call them this morning. We may have to move them. We have that supposed new Monday that it's not supposed to be. This is
Rising up about little outfit.
Since those 153.
Yeah.
Wow, this kind of.
Yeah, it was really
I just
hard so bad.
I wanted you guys all to see it before you started.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must be why they got.
Henry's gonna be our trustee rate for the day. And I injected. That was so good yesterday, so I'm not seeing her.
Yeah.
Thank you. How about that? Let's get my sing eye girls. Yes.
It's not exciting.
Nothing at all.
Nothing exciting anyways, huh?
Nice tie.
Oh.
Well, thank you.
See you.
Interview job. Yeah. Yes. No, thank you. He did tell me I'm gonna get back to this one as well. So,
Starting to get year-end busy again.
It is going to be you and my world busy at home. Getting all the tax stuff done, work and planning. I do this stuff, it's just terrible.
Yeah.
They make it so complicated, you can't do it yourself. And that's expensive help.
Up and running for a little bit till I go down. It's gonna. Interesting.
Where'd you go?
Yes.
Cass Diner.
Yeah, whatever his restaurant is. It's okay. Pretty good.
You got good burgers.
Fun to lose. There you go.
Everybody looks right. The clock's ticking. You'll all stand when we get our meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Appleby?
Here.
Mr. Hedinger?
Here.
Mr. Morris?
Here.
Mr. Henry?
Here.
Mr. Carlton?
Here.
And Mr. Luke?
Here.
May I have a motion for approval of the October 16th, 2024 regular board minutes?
Now so move.
Second.
Second, Mr. Carlton.
We have a motion by Mrs. Appleby, seconded by Mr. Carlton to approve the October 16th regular board minutes.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Appleby?
Yes.
Mr. Hedinger?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Mr. Carlton?
Yes.
Mr. Luke?
Yes.
And Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
There are no emergency appropriations or transfers at this time. May I have a motion for approval of payments of the county's financial obligations?
So moved.
Mr. Morris?
Second.
Mr. Luce?
We have a motion by Mr. Morris, seconded by Mr. Luke, to approve the payments of the county's financial obligations. Mr. Hedinger?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Mr. Carlton?
Yes.
Mr. Luke?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
And Mrs. Appleby?
Yes.
May I have a motion for approval of reports of fees of county offices?
So moved.
Mr. Luce?
Second.
Mr. Morris?
We have a motion on the floor first by Mr. Luke, seconded by Mr. Morris, to approve reports of fees of county offices.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Mr. Carlton?
Yes.
Mr. Luke?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Appleby?
Yes.
And Mr. Hedinger?
Yes. At this time, we will entertain public comment on any county board action agenda items.
Right here.
Yes.
Is it on? Can you hear me now? I was going to say that. Good morning, I'm John Pratt. I just have a question on item number 14, a couple questions. Who's paying for the Christmas party, how much is being spent, and are the employees going to get any bonus or anything similar to that? Monetary bonus for Christmas? Thanks.
Well,
With the county board, you want to answer to that? Is that what you're asking
Yes,
for?
please.
Okay. The county board, the past 2 years, has contributed $1,500 for a meal for all county employees. And then we go to a location. We'll either have food brought in here, or we'll go to a location and have a meal together. And there are no county bonuses or Christmas bonuses.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. My name is Kirk Allen. Just had a question in regards to number item 15, budget analysis prep, and as to what that is, and could you tell me what month you guys did your final budget adoption? That's all I have.
What that document is the document that, if the board approves, will sign for our auditor to do the budget prep. We have not done a final budget yet. We're still in that process. So hopefully we'll have a final budget by the end of December. We're still in work progress with that.
Thank you. Does your fiscal year start December?
No, January 1.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
My name is James Donasso. I want to address item 13, Illinois Association of County Board Member dues. Just would like to know, from the standpoint of the board, what kind of value or advice or benefit there is for being a member of that association.
You'll have to answer that one.
It's a state association. All I know is,
Yeah, I'll take a stab at it. A newsletter is published. We all get the newsletter. It mentions items that are pending to become law or that have become law, so that we are more knowledgeable about what is about to happen. If we don't like it, we can protest, or what has happened and the impact that it has on the county. Good information.
anyone else? We will move on to item 9. Mr. Morris, would you like to do that, please?
I get to it right here, yes, sir. I move that to approve the fiscal year 2023 audit prepared and presented by Larson, Woodard, and Henson, LLP.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Morris, seconded by Mr. Wilson, to approve the fiscal year 2023 audit prepared and presented by Larson, Woodard, and Henson, LLP.
Discussion.
But in the event that anyone is wondering, we have seen that and spent a considerable amount of time going over it with the auditor, so it's not something we're approving blindly.
Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Carlton,
Yes.
Mr. Luke,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Appleby,
Yes.
Mr. Hettinger,
Yes.
and Mr. Morris.
Yes.
Let the minutes show, passed 7.
Mr. Carlton, would you handle item 10, please?
Sure. I move to approve the renewal of Douglas County's employee health plan with Health Alliance with rates for January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025 as listed. Employee is $987. Employee and spouse is $1,830. Employee plus children is $1,643. And a family is $2,862.
Second. Mrs. Appleby.
I have a motion by Mr. Carlton, seconded by Mrs. Appleby, to approve the renewal of Douglas County's employee health plan with Health Alliance with rates for 1/1/2025 to 12/31/2025 as listed. Employee $987. Employee and spouse $1,830. Employee and children $1,643. Family $2,862.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Carlton,
Yes.
Mr. Luke,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Appleby,
Yes.
Mr. Hettinger,
Yes.
Mr. Morris,
Yes.
and Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Let the motion show it passed 7-0.
Mr. Henry, would you handle item 11, please?
I will. I make a motion to approve the renewal of the employee paid VSP Direct Vision Plan and Companion Life Dental Plan for Douglas County for fiscal year 2025 as listed. Vision employee, $9.89. Employee and spouse, $15.83. Employee and children, $16.16. Family, $26.05. On the dental side, employee, $32.69. Employee spouse, $63.02. Employee children, $60.53. And family, $100.86.
Right, I'll stick with Mr. Lewis.
Motion, first by Henry, second by Morris, to approve the renewal of employee paid VSP direct vision plan and companion life dental plan for Douglas County for fiscal year 2025 as listed. Vision employee $989, employee and spouse $1583, employee and children $1616, family $2605, dental employee $3269, employee and spouse $6302, employee and children $6053, and family $186.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Luke,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Appleby,
Yes.
Mr. Heidinger,
Yes.
Mr. Morris,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
and Mr. Carlton.
Yes.
Let the minutes show that the motion passed 7-0.
Mrs. Appleby, would you like to do item 12, please?
Okay. I move to approve the payment of the ICRMT liability insurance package and workers' compensation renewal for FY 2024 to 2025 as listed. Liability insurance $313,424. Workers' compensation $97.562. To include PEDA coverage.
Second.
Motion by Appleby, second by Luke, to approve the payment of the ICRMT liability insurance package and workers' compensation renewal for fiscal year 2024 to 2025 as listed. Liability insurance $313,424. Workers' compensation $97,562 to include PEDA coverage.
It'd be nice if it was only $97.
Yeah.
Discussion.
The reason for clarification that it says fiscal year 2024, our insurance plans renew December 1 through November 30th. When we went to calendar fiscal year, that did not change.
Anything else? Roll call, please.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Appleby?
Yes.
Mr. Heidinger?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Mr. Carlton?
Yes.
And Mr. Luke?
Yes.
Let the minutes show, motion passed 7-0. Mr. Wilson, would you like to do item
Sure.
14, please?
I move to approve the payment of $675 annual membership dues to the Illinois Association of County Board Members for fiscal year 2025.
Second.
Mr. Lewis.
Motion by Mr. Wilson, seconded by Mr. Luke, to approve the payment of $675 annual membership dues to the Illinois Association of County Board Members for fiscal year 2025.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Appleby?
Yes.
Mr. Heidinger?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Mr. Carlton?
Yes.
Mr. Luke?
Yes.
And Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Let the minutes show, motion passed 7-0.
Mr. Morris, would you like to do item 15, please?
approve the expenditure of, oh, I think there's an amount.
1,500.
Well, that is for you, that's
Last
for
year.
you all to decide, not for me to decide, but the last 2 years, we've done $1,500.
Okay, I move to approve the expenditure of $1,500 for the Douglas County Employee Christmas Party.
Second.
No.
David.
Motion by Mr. Morris, seconded by Mr. Henry to approve the expenditure of $1,500 for the Douglas County Employee Christmas Party.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Henninger,
Yes.
Mr. Morris,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Carlton,
Yes.
Mr. Luce,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
and Mrs. Appleby.
Yes.
Motion passed, 7-0.
Mr. Luce, would you handle item 15?
I move to enter into an agreement with Larson, Woodyard, and Henson LLP for budget analysis and prep for budget fiscal year 2025 at a cost not to exceed $6,500.
Second.
Motion on the floor from Mr. Luce, seconded by Mr. Wilson, to enter into an agreement with Larson, Woodyard, and Henson LLP for budget analysis and prep for budget fiscal year 2025 at a cost not to exceed $6,500.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Morris,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Carlton,
Yes.
Mr. Luce,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Appleby,
Yes.
and Mr. Henninger.
Yes.
Motion passed, 7-0.
Mr. Morris, would you handle item 16, please?
Are you picking on me today?
I want to keep it away.
Certainly. I move to approve the appointment of Elliot Kinnan as member of the 911 board. He will replace former Arthur Police Chief Mike Goodman, whose term expires in January 2026.
Second.
Motion on the floor from Mr. Morris, seconded by Mr. Luke, to approve the appointment of Elliot Tinnen as a member of the 911 board. He will replace former Arthur Police Chief Mike Goodman, whose term expires January 2026.
Discussion.
Is Mr. Kinnan here?
No.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Carlton,
Yes.
Mr. Luke,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Appleby,
Yes.
Mr. Henninger,
Yes.
and Mr. Morris.
Yes.
Motion passed, 7-0.
Mr. Henry, would you handle item 17, please?
I will. I make a motion to approve the appointment of Urban Lee Miller as Drainage District Trustee to Drainage District Number 3 of the town of Bourbon until the first Tuesday in September of 2027.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Henry, seconded by Mr. Wilson, to approve the appointment of Orvin Lee Miller as Drainage District Trustee to Drainage District Number 3 of the town of Bourbon until the first Tuesday in September 2027.
Discussion.
Second. You second? No. We didn't vote, just roll call.
You have it. Go ahead.
Mr. Carlton,
Yes.
Mr. Luke,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Appleby,
Yes.
Mr. Henninger,
Yes.
Mr. Morris,
Yes.
and Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Motion passed, 7-0.
Mr. Carlton, will you handle item 18, please?
Yes. I move to approve the bid in the amount of $31,535 from Happy Green Services LLC for the purchase and installation of a pavilion post frame building for the coroner's garage.
Second.
Motion from Mr. Carlton, seconded by Mrs. Appleby, to approve the bid in the amount of $31,535 from the Happy Green Services LLC for the purchase and installation of a pavilion post frame building for the coroner's garage.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Luke?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Appleby?
Yes.
Mr. Hettinger?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
And Mr. Carlton?
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
Mr. Wilson, would you handle item 19, please?
Sure. I move to approve the reappointment of the following Douglas County Board of Health members. Jim Higgins, term to expire 11/30/2027. Dr. Ryan Schunkwaller, DDS, term to expire 11/30/2027. Dr. Raphael Ruggieri, MD, term to expire 11/30/2027. Bibby Appleby, Douglas County Board, term to expire 11/30/2025.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor by Mr. Wilson, seconded by Mr. Liu, to approve the reappointment of the following Douglas County Board of Health members. Jim Higgins, term to expire 11/30/2027. Dr. Ryan Schonkweiler, DDS, term to expire 11/30/2027. Dr. Raphael Ruggieri, MD, term to expire 11/30/2027. And Mrs. Bibby Appleby, Douglas County Board, term to expire 11/30/2025.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Appleby?
Yes.
Mr. Hettinger?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Mr. Carlton?
Yes.
And Mr. Liu?
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
Mr. Luke, would you do item 20, please?
I move to amend the Douglas County credit card policy that was approved by Resolution 24R5. The amendment to the policy will correct a typo in 2BF3, changing issue to issuance, and adding in the new conditions in 2BI, addressing sales tax and credit card late fees.
Well, second.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Luke, seconded by Mr. Henry, to amend the Douglas County credit card policy that was approved by Resolution 24-R-5. The amendment to the policy will correct a typo in 2BF3, changing issue to issuance, and adding in the new conditions in 2BI, addressing sales tax and credit card late fees.
Discussion.
For those of you who weren't in on the discussion, basically, obviously cleaning up the typo, but we had situations where departments weren't aware that the county has sales tax exemption, and there's no need to pay that, as well as them forgetting to pay the fees, and we're emphasizing that the county's not going to pay for late fees or sales tax.
Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Appleby?
Yes.
Mr. Hettinger?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Mr. Carlton?
Yes.
Mr. Luke?
Yes.
And Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Minutes show motion passed 7-0.
Mr. Henry, would you handle item 21, please?
I make a motion to approve the payment of $2,034.81 to Alan Romine, Garrett Township, for the assessment of the new and omitted construction in Arcola Township 2024. The Arcola Township assessor failed to report this work to Mr. Romine's, this work, and Mr. Romine picked up $2,053,927 of assessed value to submit to the Board of Review for Arcola Township 2024.
Second.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Henry, seconded by Mr. Luke, to approve the payment of $2,034.81 to Alan Romine, Garrett Township, for the assessment of new and omitted construction in Arcola Township for 2024. The Arcola Township assessor failed to report this work, and Mr. Romine's work picked up $2,053,927 of assessed values to submit to the Board of Review for Arcola Township for 2024.
Discussion.
Just for your information, that $2 million figure translates into over $140,000 in tax revenue for various taxing bodies within Douglas County. Statutes are pretty clear on what assessors are supposed to do and their responsibilities, so this was a situation where that had not occurred, and outside individual was hired to come in and clean up the lack of following the law, basically. So that's why you see this today.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
We're gonna submit the bill.
Hang on,
Hang on.
hang on.
Oh,
We
okay.
gotta do this motion first.
All right.
Roll call, please.
Alrighty, Mr. Morris,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Carlton,
Yes.
Mr. Luke,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Appleby,
Yes.
and Mr. Henninger.
Yes.
Let the minutes show, motion passed 7-0.
Mr. Morris, you have item 22.
I move to approve invoicing Arcola Township $2,034.81 for assessment work performed by Alan Romine for the new and omitted construction in Arcola Township for 2024.
Second.
Second, Mr. Carlton.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Morris, seconded by Mr. Carlton, to approve invoicing Arcola Township $2,034.81 for assessment work performed by Alan Romine for new and omitted construction in Arcola Township for 2024.
Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Mr. Carlton?
Yes.
Mr. Luke?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Appleby?
Yes.
And Mr. Henninger.
Yes.
Let the minutes show, motion passed 7-0.
At this time, do I have any additions or corrections to your subcommittee reports? Hearing this, you have one?
Yes. I would like to introduce to the board our new administrator for animal control, sitting in the back row, Ms. Riley Weinstock. You'll stand and say hello to everybody. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, baby.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Any new business to discuss? Hearing none. Questions from press and visitors?
Public comment? Full disclosure, my name is James Donassau. I'm with Concerned Taxpayers of Coles County. We're an organization of volunteers that are down in Coles County. We try to keep our county government accountable. A couple of things I'd like to address. The reason I asked about the item 13, the 2025 Illinois Association of County Board membership dues,
is because I've looked into this organization before, and they're definitely not pro-taxpayer at all. They are basically a non-for-profit lobbying group that have members across the state, obviously, of the county boards. I'd like to show you something real quick. The deck is stacked against the taxpayers here in Illinois, property tax owners especially. We have the second highest property taxes in the nation. We have one of the highest outward migrations of any state in the Midwest. A lot of it's due to the property taxes. It's not the weather like Springfield would like you to believe. I just looked this up real quick because I hadn't looked at it in the last couple months, but basically, this is a lobbying organization. They don't have your constituents' best interests at heart. And let me just give you an example. So there's a bill that's being proposed right now, and it is House Bill 4750 concerning property taxes. And let me just read the real quick little synopsis of this so you know what it's about. It amends the property tax code, provides that the property tax bill should include information notifying each taxpayer of each exemption that is available to a specific category of taxpayer and the deadlines for applying for those exemptions. Now, why would this organization be against letting property owners know when the exemptions were, what the exemptions were and when they were due so they could file them appropriately and get the exemption? Well, it's real simple. It's so the county could get more tax revenue and the deadline can pass by. That's the truth. And I have seen all kinds of legislation that they have opposed in the past. One of them that sticks out in my mind was property tax relief for seniors who have gone through house destruction due to acts of God, like weather, tornadoes. It was going to, this is a few years ago, I'm just giving you some examples, further examples. If your house was damaged in the first half of the year, the bill was proposing that for seniors that they had their property taxes not deferred, but readjusted based on the damage to their home because it wasn't going to be able to be used and whatnot. This organization opposed that. They constantly oppose anything that favors the taxpayers, the property taxpayers. And they do other things too. And they have the interest of the county boards of revenue in mind, not the interest of the constituents that you represent in mind. So I just want to bring that to your attention. Some of you may not have known that, but it is an independent organization and it is basically a special interest group. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. I personally don't believe that local units of government should be able to be part of special interest groups to lobby the legislature. I just don't. I don't believe in that. Second thing I would like to address is they did this down in Coles County. The fact that you're having a meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning, most of the taxpayers can't come. They work. And I know there's all kinds of reasons why you might say you want it at 9 o'clock in the morning. I went through this with our county board down there several years ago. It may be convenient for you. It may be that you feel that people don't show when it's after hours, after work hours, but you should at least make the hours available to the people. And most people that work can't come to these meetings. And I don't think that they're not able to hear what I have to say. They're not able to hear what you have to say or any of the other people that have comments. So that's just a suggestion. Thirdly, the property tax system is very complex in Illinois. It's very hard to understand for the average person. And there's a lot of things that work against the taxpayer. Just like this proposed bill would help clean up that the organization opposes. The very fact that you have to try to file a complaint, go in front of the board of review, appeal to PTAB in Springfield, it's a long, drawn-out, complicated process. I find it amazing, and I've said this to the board down in Coles County, that we either all play by the same rules or we don't play by rules at all. If I was to pay my property taxes one day late, I'd be charged interest and penalties. If I let it go for long enough, the government could come in and take my property and sell my taxes. And then I would be in hock for the taxes and whatnot. The fact that it's stacked against the taxpayer so much and that there's no one out there to help the taxpayer is one of the reasons we came together to try to at least remedy and petition our local governments to do something about these things. Property taxes are so bad in Illinois, and it's so unfair because the taxpayer has really no relief. We've been in court with our county for years, and the wheels of justice turn slow. We have recently found out that our county was taxing personal property, portable buildings, which they're not allowed to do. If you read the statute, you can only tax real property, okay? I don't know if that's I've heard it's an issue here. You need to study that law, and you need to listen to people who own property here, because you are only allowed to tax real property. That's it. If it's a portable building, you cannot tax it. In Coles County, they are violating that rule because they are taxing portable buildings that are over so much square footage, which the law does not allow for at all. So I just want to bring that to your attention and just let you know that these are some concerns that are on taxpayers' minds. Maybe think about reevaluating when you have your meetings and whether or not you're really representing your constituents by being a member of an organization that opposes almost everything that would give any type of common sense property tax relief or information to your constituents. Thank you.
My name's Leslie Combs. I address the Finance Committee, and most of you don't know me. So I'm going to give you a little brief history of me. I served as Vice President of the Coles County Taxpayer Association and helped remove 7 county board members that voted for a nuisance ordinance that the people didn't want. They showed up in great numbers, filled the boardroom, filled the hallways, filled the courtyard, and the board member, in fact the chairman, said, "You elect us to make the decisions for you because you don't know what's best for you." And we removed all 7 of them. Second, I served on the Regional Planning Commission Committee for the 20-year future plan for Coles County, which had 75 references to county zoning. Me and Wide Mountain Board representative and another committee member addressed this issue. Prior to the ratification of this, the county board made an amendment that removed all references and any indication of county zoning in it before ratifying it. I consider that a second achievement. 7 years ago, I butted heads with the Regional Planning Commission, who stole money from the townships under the false pretenses that it was illegal by EPA law. And I have in my business that has addressed this county for over 85 years by the family and heavy construction, knew the EPA law statutes. I got in writing from the EPA law that it was not illegal. Our glorious state's attorney tried to still make excuses to justify taking the money until I found a government mandate to have the program that was then reinstated. Okay? So this is the type of person I am. I am here now because I am addressing the portable building issue. The law is very specific. Dillon's rule is very specific. Local government is only given the authority to the statutes and the legal wording of the law. If any state's attorney can give me anything in writing that says that a tax assessor has the authority to reconfiguration a portable building to a permanent structured shed in order to charge property taxes, I'd like to see it. If they can show me that a tax assessor can reach up in the air and say, because a portable building is of a certain square footage, I can charge property taxes, I'd like to see it. Because under Dillon's rules, if it doesn't say it, you can't do it. Okay? So basically, I've also, since addressing the Finance Committee, had 2 things that have occurred by accident that even strengthened my case even more. The first thing is that I was doing my will, and my wife's will or trust or whatever you want to call it. And the attorney kept saying, who you want to leave your real property to, who do you want to leave your personal property to, and it didn't click at first. And then it finally did, and I said, well, what do you classify a portable building as? Well, it's personal property because it's portable. I said, okay, so this is recorded in the courthouses, is that not correct? Yes. So now I have a fact that in trust and wills, portable buildings are classified. Now, she did say in most cases they're left with the real property, but you can exempt them and leave them to separate individuals because they can back up to them, winch them up on a flatbed trailer and remove them. Okay? The second issue is that Robert, who is here tonight, had an issue of the exact similar case in building structure. He had a pole beam structured building that the tax assessor reassessed as a garage because of its intent of use, because he stored vehicles in it. He won. In fact, the PTAB judge that came down last month in this said, why am I here? The law is so specific. Why am I here? So these are the things that we need to understand is that also I wanted to inform you, there's 102 counties in Illinois. Only 33 counties are charging property taxes on portable buildings. 69 of them are not. Shelby County is one of them. And guess what? They deem it illegal to charge property taxes on them. Chapin Rose deems it illegal. He's trying to get an appointment with the state's attorney and trying to get their coordinated. We're also supposed to have a big meeting with the Board of Review in Coles County, and we are supposed to also have the state's attorney, and we are also supposed to have the tax assessor and us all in a meeting to address this issue. The thing that we have trouble getting, that we've had trouble getting, is for a state's attorney to give us a legal definition of permanent, a fixed structure or real property. They won't give it to us, but they have to give it to a Board of Review, and the Board of Review chairman has requested that from the state's attorney. So these are the issues that we are addressing, and the law already is illegal to charge property taxes on portable buildings. And the thing that seems to be by these counties to address this issue is because, or failure to address this issue, is because there's another statute law that stipulates that if you charge property taxes on personal property, you must refund it. Now, I am in contact with 3 attorneys. All 3 of them want the case. And one of them said that they would have to check the statutes to see if there was a limitation, whether they could only do it the year you're filing, or whether you can go back all the years you've done it, or just 2 or 3 years, and stuff like that. I've been given 4 legal options. One of them I'm leaning toward is a writ of mandamus. A writ of mandamus is where you actually present the law to a jury of judges that rule on that law, and then they send back to the state's attorney a mandate to enforce that law. So this is where I'm at on this issue. I came here because I'm dealing with Coles County, and my addressing is with it, is because I have done most of my income work from Douglas County. So I'm doing it as a courtesy so that you can prepare options in case this bleeds over into your county and you have to address the issue. I'm not trying to make any enemies. I'm trying to give you warning of what I'm doing and what the law is. Thank you.
Is this concerning the same thing, sir?
My name is Rob Perry, and this is about this issue, yes.
You have about 4 minutes.
Could I ask who's in charge of office and rules here at the county?
It's stated right on here, 15 minutes for any one topic.
So we've
We're
expired
already
time.
We're already into that topic, 13 minutes.
So can I ask for additional time?
You can ask, yes.
May I be granted that?
If it's not lengthy, yes.
Won't take a moment. The person in charge of office and rules, I believe that's who would handle the property tax office here, the supervisor of assessment. Who would that be?
That's me.
Are you aware of what's going on?
You addressing her or us?
Who are you addressing?
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
She's sitting right behind you, the supervisor of assessment.
Oh. Where are you at, ma'am? Are you aware of what's going on?
Yes, I am.
And does the board know of what you're doing with portable buildings? Is that something you've talked about?
Yes.
And do you have a plan, or have you fixed it?
No.
And you're not going to fix it?
I have been in meetings with other SOAs throughout the state of Illinois and the Illinois Department of Revenue, and that's who I deal with.
Really?
Yes.
And are you aware of what the
We don't need a back and forth between you and.
Well, I'm not, I'm just gonna ask one more question, be done. Why are you so stoked up with not wanting to ask questions?
We're finished. Thank you.
This is a real friendly place, you know, real friendly.
Thank you. My name is Kirk Allen. On number 25, and maybe I'm not understanding your policy, it does say questions. Sir, are we shouldn't ask questions or we can't ask questions?
5-minute limit, time limit per person.
Right, but I'm asking, can
15 minutes on any one topic.
I understand that. Can we ask questions?
If it's not on that topic, yes.
Okay. In regards to the payment you guys made for Arcola Township assessments, who's the representative for Arcola? I would make a huge suggestion, because now all the taxpayers of the county have picked up a bill for that township. That township then is going to reimburse you. Maybe. Invoke their bond. You have an assessor that didn't do their job. Invoke their bond. That needs to be pursued because that person needs held accountable for not doing their job. And I applaud you for stepping up and making sure it got done. That should happen in a lot of places because a lot of townships, the assessors aren't doing their job. Not even close. So I would encourage you to push that venue down there. As far as the topic that those gentlemen were discussing, I spoke with Senator Rose this morning. According to the legislature, the law is clear. You cannot tax those buildings. And that subject is why the bill did not move forward, because it didn't come out of committee, because they said there's no reason to change the law because the law already forbids it. He is working on that. I would encourage your state's attorney to get with your senator. I'm not sure who your senator is in this area, and have that discussion and find where in the law it allows you to do that type of activity. That's all I have. Thank you.
Is there any need for executive session? Hearing none. Mr. Wood.
I move we adjourn until December 18th, 9 a.m.
Motion by Mr. Booth, second by Mr. Morris to adjourn to December 18th, 2024 at 9 a.m.